Subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell icon for the latest film interviews, features, and recommendations on the movies that matter. Nitesh sir, hello. Who would have thought that this is the way we'd be communicating, right?
Yes, sir, absolutely. I mean, nobody ever thought, that for the time being we'll have to change the way we work.
That's true. You're in isolation at home. I want to ask you, how has it literally on a day-to-day basis affected the work that you do? I know you weren't in the middle of a shoot like a lot of other filmmakers were, but you are prepping your next film, your big trilogy, your Ramayana. How has it affected your work? The health scare, the coronavirus, the self-isolation, the social distancing. We know that filmmaking is a collaborative job. It requires teamwork, which I'm guessing isn't happening right now.
Sir, it has affected, yes. There is no question about it. Ashwini had to postpone her shoot, which she was supposed to do starting 25th of March.
Right.
As far as I am concerned, at the writing phase, mostly I am at home only with my writers, sitting and writing. So as far as my writing part is concerned, I am not able to meet my writers. So what we have done is we have started doing FaceTime, and now we are brainstorming with each other on the FaceTime, and we have not stopped writing.
Okay.
It's an experiment which we are doing, but the thing is that there is only so much time you can sit and do nothing at home, and there's only so much time you can sit and watch stuff. After some time you have to come to work.
Correct.
And as they say, necessity is the mother of the invention. So
true.
We are also discovering different ways and means as to how do we continue to work.
Right.
And at the same time, how do we stick to what is required for the country? That is, don't step out and just be a part of what everyone is going through. So yes, that is one part of my writing bit, and it's very funny. We still are fighting on the FaceTime, which is on in person we fight, and on FaceTime also we are fighting. So nothing has changed. That we don't hit each other.
Right.
And as far as Ramayana is concerned, yes, we are doing mostly con calls and video calls because right now we are more or less at a prep stage, so we can actually do without meeting much.
Okay.
Because collaboration involves people from different cities and different countries.
Right.
Anyways, the meeting wouldn't have been that possible. So yes, things have changed, but things haven't really changed drastically.
Correct. What is this allowing you in some sense to spend more time with the family than one tends to? You'll have two twins. You'll have a pair of twins. How is this? Is this giving you more time with the family?
I never, feel like that I don't spend enough time with my family. The reason why I don't take too much of work is because I love spending time with my kids, because it's only few years before they will not need me. That's the truth I have to live with. So I am a bit greedy as far as my kids are concerned. I love to spend as much time with them as possible, whenever possible.
Right.
So yes, this has given me much more than what I would have honestly wanted.
Right.
Because after some time they get fidgety.
Right.
They don't know what to do. They are asking questions constantly. They don't understand the concept of you working from home.
Correct.
For them, if you are at home, you are theirs.
Right. So, which makes sense, which is fair. Correct.
So I have to explain it to them that, Papa and Mama need to work. So now they have come to terms with it for last 3-4 days. They have come to terms with it. And also I'm trying to be innovative. How do I keep them engaged?
Yeah.
How do I keep them entertained? Because they are not stepping out at all.
That's right.
So.
And what are some of the things you come up with?
One thing, it's a very bit of a personal thing also, because there are 3 reasons for doing it. I have got them to read Chacha Chaudhary.
Lovely.
Okay. Now the first reason being that I want to relive my childhood memories of Chacha Chaudhary. Number 1.
Right.
Number 2, that it hurts me somewhere that they are not very good at Hindi. So I want them to use this time to get even better at Hindi. They're all right, but they're not really great. I was very good at their age.
Right.
I did Chandrakanta and all when I was 9.
Right.
So I want them to get started getting used to Hindi. So that is number 2. And comics is the best way. I straight away give them a novel. They may not find it very interesting.
True.
So Chacha Chaudhary is very nice. And thirdly, that they take longer to read Hindi, so they take longer to finish one book. It gives me more time to work. So
Very
yeah.
cleverly designed.
Yes.
I have to ask you, Nitesh sir, you made last year Chhichhore, which was a film about a bunch of friends who went to college together. Youthful friends who were in the same hostel, reconnecting when at the time of a tragedy. Um, I'm curious to know, have you connected with your own friends? I mean, this seems like a perfectly suited time to in a sense reconnect with old friends.
Yes. In fact, I have been in touch with my batchmates and my seniors and my juniors for a very long time. And this incident of coronavirus has got us to interact even more, because what's happening is there is so much of misinformation which is floating around, and we
Right.
don't know what to believe and what not to believe. Luckily, I have a few of my seniors and few of my juniors who are in very senior positions in US as far as research in on medical science is concerned.
Right.
So we are all looking up to them to provide credible information and what to believe and what not to believe, and their word is being taken as gospel. And we have realized that there's a lot of nonsensical stuff which is floating around. There's so much of misinformation which is floating around. So
Right.
I have taken their guidance, and I'm doing my bit to, if I get a WhatsApp forward which is obviously a fake, I make it a point to flag it and tell the person who's sending it to say, boss, this is not true.
Right. Correct. That makes a lot of sense. I want to ask you, Nitish, so what is your advice? What would be your recommendation to aspiring filmmakers, to aspiring writers who are working towards having a career in the films? Now, this would obviously this is obviously thrown a spanner in the works where one is not able to go out and find work, one is not able to hone one's skills, one's craft. What would you recommend that one do in this situation, sitting from home, in a way that one is able to work towards that goal?
There's a lot these guys can do. In fact, I have learned most of the stuff myself.
Uh-huh.
And a lot. I've not gone to any film school. It was
Right.
just that I was very keenly interested in learning the finer aspects of filmmaking without wanting to be one at one point of time. I
Right.
spent a lot of time devising my own ways of what actually goes inside a writer's mind and what actually goes inside a director's mind. More importantly, a director's mind, because I myself started my career in advertising as a writer, so I didn't really want to know so much about writing.
Right.
You are used to certain fundamentals of writing,
Mm.
but about a director, and I formed my own ways.
Mm.
I made sure that I watched a lot of movies.
Okay.
Because I come from a small town, I never got to watch English movies till I came to Bombay.
Yeah.
So I lost out on a lot of great films. So
Correct.
I took a list of all the great movies from my friends, in their opinion, the movies which I should be watching. And I joined the library. Now you don't need to join the library. Those movies are readily available everywhere.
Correct.
But I made sure that I catch up on the lost time. So that is advice number one I'll give. There's a whole lot of fantastic stuff
Right.
which has been created around the world and not just in a few countries. And please try and watch as much as possible. Secondly, there is a lot of informative stuff which is there on the YouTube. I am
Right.
doing that. I am spending a lot of time at home right now because I believe that learning never stops.
Right.
So for Ramayana, what I'm doing right now is I'm just going through all the fantastic VFX reels and just to understand how this movie was made. So
Right.
I'm seeing movies which are VFX heavy, and I'm going onto the net to learn about how did they go about making those movies, what all was required, because it's
Right.
important for me to know. As a filmmaker, only if you know the possibilities will you, as a writer, be able to fly.
Correct. Correct.
So that is something which is very important. And third thing, which is very, very interesting thing, I feel now, at that time, that was the only way I could teach myself. But this, I think, is something which is very nice I did at that time. There are a lot of screenplays which are available on the net.
Right.
So if I was going to watch a movie, what I used to do is I used to read the screenplay first.
Right.
If I've not seen the movie.
Right.
I would read the screenplay and I will think in my head that as a director, let me see now what the director has done. And a lot of time I'm pretty stunned because what's there on the screenplay and what you see on screen is something so drastically different that a director's imagination and treatment comes in very handy at there.
Right. Right.
So that is something. And then there are a lot of movies which are available on DVDs which have director's commentaries.
That's
where
right.
You can watch the whole movie with the director's commentary. That's also
Correct.
a great learning thing. I've taught myself a lot.
Right.
Sat through Kubrick's commentary, sat through Shyamalan's commentary, sat through a lot of commentaries to understand why he shot Sixth Sense the way he shot.
Did,
why
right.
was the restaurant sequence a single shot on a trolley?
Right.
So you get to understand the director a lot more.
Right. Since you're mentioning that, I want to give a little recommendation. Actually, on Netflix, I watched the other day Road to Roma, which is I think it's a little over a 1 hour documentary on how Cuarón made Roma, which is absolutely incredible. It's because it's just such a wonderful film to shoot it in black and white, how the emotions sort of led the story. It's a terrific sort of making of documentary, since you mentioned it, on Netflix. You really should you should watch it if you get a chance.
I'm quickly going to watch it today only.
Okay.
Because I love knowing about movies. I am a big sucker for all the information which comes. I've sat through how Fincher uses VFXs in his movies, and
Right.
I mean, I just love to know more.
Right.
So this is something which I'm definitely going to look forward to.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
No, you're most welcome. I want to take this opportunity. I know it's too early. I know that you've just begun scripting Ramayana, but I want to ask you. I'm not going to ask you details of who you're casting. I'm not going to ask those kind of things. What I want to ask you is, what do you have a vision in terms? I mean, I would imagine by now you have a vision in terms of how you want it to look, sir. The styling of it. Will it be? Do you have? I mean, it is, in a sense, it is costume drama. But what can you tell us at this point in terms of how you want it to look?
Yeah. See, one thing is for sure, and that is something which was one of the big reasons
right.
why I chose to do it. Apart from a lot of other reasons which compelled me and made me want to do this film.
Right.
One big reassurance is there, which is that the capabilities of VFX
right.
Have gone many folds, and our oldest memories, or the earliest memories, so whatever you want to call it,
right,
are still 30 years old. So we really haven't seen Ramayana in a form in which it deserves to be told. And when I saw the kind of world which Ravi is creating, Ravi Udyawar, he is creating the world for Ram, and the kind of work he has put in. I came on board little later. By the time Ravi had already put in a lot of work.
Right.
When I saw, that world, it kind of blew me. And when you have your partners from the producer side who are equally passionate and are willing to go all the way to create and enable you to be able to tell your story in that world.
Yeah.
So you have a story which has got fantastic belief in our culture, and you have a very interesting way of executing it, and you have people who are backing you. So all those things make it extremely exciting for me to be a part of this project. I consider myself very lucky.
We're in a state of sort of lockdown. There is a pandemic. I mean, one only puts on the news to see, all over the world, really. I mean, images of Times Square, images of Mumbai streets, absolutely desolate in a way that actually we've only seen in films. So, what are some of the films that come to mind when you look at that? That kind of almost a, I don't want to use the word, but it resembles those post-apocalyptic worlds that Hollywood films have captured, doesn't it?
Far too many, to be very honest. Because Hollywood has been a great fan of disaster movies.
Yes.
I don't want to sound pessimistic by calling it a disaster, but yeah, it has the potential to be a disaster, coronavirus. And are taking due precautions. But it does have that sense, of I Am a Legend or 2012 or Independence Day.
Right.
And one thing is very heartening, I'm more of a optimistic guy, so I always look at the positive side of it. The way the world was united in these movies to come together as one to fight the disaster which was impending is the kind of sense I am also getting from the way countries are behaving. So yes, it does remind you, of any disaster movie.
Right. And finally, Nitesh, sir, I can't let you go without you giving us some recommendations. What have you watched lately or read lately that you really enjoyed that you recommend strongly to anyone that's watching this? Some films, some shows. I know. When we were talking on the phone yesterday, you recommended something, but I'll allow you to tell us.
I recently saw this movie which has just got released on Netflix. It's called The Platform.
That's right.
It kind of blew my mind. I always rate those films very highly, which make me want to think as a writer that why can't we think of stuff like this, and why can't we execute stuff like this?
Right.
And it's a truly mind-blowing film. It's a very experimental, social experiment kind of a film, but it is so gripping and it is so thought-provoking that I would strongly recommend that please go and watch The Platform. And it is very relevant to today's times also. The way kind of authorities coming out and telling that do not hoard things. There is enough for everyone. People are still going out and buying more than what they require.
Correct.
I hope if you watch Platform, maybe it will add little more sense, for you in these tough times.
Lovely. Anything else you've seen? Any series? Are you watching any shows?
I am not much of a series watcher, primarily because they are too time consuming and they are too addictive also. I remember not being able to stay asleep when I was watching House of Cards or when I was watching Chernobyl or when I was watching Dark. So as a policy, I try to stay away from series as much as possible. But because I have a lot more time in hands right now, so I am watching a few series. There is one which is on Hotstar. It's called Special Ops by Nitesh Tiwari and team. I find it quite interesting as of now. I am a big sucker for spy drama. I'm a huge fan of all the stuff which Raw does. As a child also, because I've grown up in vicinity of Nanaji, who was a part of CID. So I have a special bent towards that. So that is something which I'm quite enjoying. And that is one series which I'm right now trying to follow.
Okay, that's plenty tips. Thank you, sir. Looking forward to next time. The next time we chat, hopefully it'll be in person. Hopefully this will be behind us. We'll hopefully be wiser and more mature, having learned something from this whole experience. But fingers crossed. Thank you, sir, so much for this. Keep up the work. Cannot wait to see what you do with Ramayana. It really is such a timely, it really is such a relevant story, and it doesn't sort of lose its relevance at all. So can't wait to see how you can adapt it and what you do with it. Look, all the best. All the best. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Rajeev. Thank you so much for doing this interview. Primarily not because you're doing an interview with me, because you are setting an example that yes, difficult times will come, but we can try and keep up with it and be innovative in our approach and still contribute to the society and yet keep on working. So I think it is something which is fantastic you're doing.
Thank you.
Apart from the interview, it is also going to give a lot of hope to a lot of people who are struggling in this tough time.
That's right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.